I think it's so funny when men or like some women will be like, who would want to date a single mom? Guys, respectfully, as a single mom, being a single mom has never stopped a man from wanting to talk or date me. Ever. Like, literally never. Ever. If anything, I think that a man that knows that I'm a single mom and I handle so many things for my kids and I'm working and doing all these things, it actually attracts them more to me. Because they know that if I had children with them, I would take great care of them. They see how I take care of my own children. Like, that has literally never ever stopped anyone. Ever. I think there's such a stigma around like being a single mom and like single women are like less worthy of love, and I just don't understand. I was in a really long relationship and I had 2 children and it didn't work out. So why does that make me like less deserving? And now I raise those two children. I work. I literally like bust my butt to give them a good life. So yeah, being a single mom has never ever stopped anyone from talking to me or wanting to date me.
Well, I'm going to give you the uncomfortable truth. And the uncomfortable truth is that most men, all right, and again, I don't like to speak for all men, but I've coached a lot of men. I've been on a lot of panels. I've had a lot of conversations, and I've been to a lot of places. And I will tell you that most men understand that single mothers are for recreational use only. All right. And this is not applicable to you. This is just speaking to what you decided to put out into the universe. And so I have to give you some insight so that everybody watching this will understand, and then they will make adjustments so that they don't put themselves into this situation where they are pleading to online watchers and users and people that are commenting and trying to convince themselves that they are more valuable than they are. And I'm not saying that you're invaluable as a human, but I'm saying that the sexual marketplace, right? That thing that then determines whether or not somebody wants to make you a wife. Because I noticed in your video that you said that you are a single mother and you've been in a long-term relationship. I always evaluate things based off of whether or not somebody was willing to give you their last name, whether or not they're willing to marry you, whether or not you actually got married. Because then the argument a lot of times will then go into, well, I could have got married, or I didn't want to get married. Okay, so why were you in this long-term relationship if you were just going to turn down a proposal? Which that's not what she said, but that is the sentiment that I usually get from people that then say they could have, they should have, they would have, but they didn't, right? And so she's saying, again, let's just use what she says. It has never stopped anything. The motion is already motioning, the things is already popping, and it's never stopped guys from wanting to get at her and date her. Okay, well then where's the results? Ask yourself this question. Why are none of these people actually still in a relationship, and why are they still a single mom? If it doesn't stop anything, if you still got motion, then why are you still a single mom? Why are you trying to convince us that men still want to date you? Because the way that we evaluate men is results, right? The way that we evaluate business people is results. The way that we evaluate fitness instructors is the results. Like, you don't have to tell me that you know what you're doing. You usually say that you knew what you were doing as the cherry on top because you already got the results, right? If somebody is giving me advice on finances, or somebody is trying to teach me or tell me that it's not hard to be a millionaire, I'm just not a millionaire yet. Why wouldn't you be a millionaire if it's not so hard to be a millionaire? If somebody is telling me that it's not that hard to get married, so somebody like myself that has been successfully married for 2 decades and going on 21 years, it's easy for me to give advice about it and how to stay successfully married and how to vet for the person that you're supposed to be with based off of where you're going instead of where you at. And for whatever reason, the delusion is crazy because women still think that their value is how they see themselves and not how other people see you. If somebody chooses not to hire me because they don't believe that I have the ability to do a great job based off of my past work history and my resume, then that means that I can't say that I'm worth whatever it is that I'm asking for. I am in a position where I have to ask for a job and then take whatever they give to me, and then I can hold out, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to get the results. That's why people that already have a job are more successful in seeking another opportunity because they then look at you as more valuable and they're willing to recruit you from the place that you came from. So the results speak louder than people saying it don't stop no motion. No, what that really means, and this is how we translate it, more men are willing to play around with you, but very rarely are they willing to give you their last name. More men are willing to date you and deal with you and interact with you and have a good time with you, but then they want you to go home or they want you to go back to your place of business. You can't keep convincing us. And there is never in history has there been more single mothers than right now. I talk to guys out here every day, and I kick it with them, and they jump on the panels like last night, and it was one guy on there last night, and he said, Anton, the thing about it is that every woman now that I'm getting older, and he was 27 years old, and he's still a young man, and he's not even in the, beginning stages of his greatness. He said, every time I run into a woman, most of the time now, every year that I get older, and the women that are around my age or older, I can't really see or find anybody that do not already have children. And it's crazy. And he's like, man, I'm not dealing with that. I'm not even going to open myself up to it. I don't have any children. And so maybe the value that you have and the people that you're seeking or the people that you're having a conversation with or that are willing to play around with you are also single fathers, right? Or maybe they're single mothers. I can't judge. I don't know what anybody does in their spare time. But my point is that the value of something is what somebody else is willing to pay for it. It's not based off of how you see yourself. I could see myself as a billionaire. It doesn't mean anything because until I get $1 billion or more, then I can't say that I'm a billionaire. How you project yourself is just confidence. That has nothing to do with results. Confidence matters. And don't get me wrong, we don't want anybody that's dusty, that got a dusty mindset, that think that they don't are there or they're not able to compete in a certain marketplace. However, we want to temper that with actual results, with real things that people understand that you're supposed to be valuing and not what you think you're supposed to have. Think about it like this. And I always like to use this example also to these same women that believe that they deserve more than what they had when they decided to get pregnant and they didn't stay with the father of their children, which I advise people to go back to the father of their children. You need to have strong family households with the biological father. Would you give your son advice to date you in the current state that you're in if he was a single, super successful man? Would you tell your son to date you? And would you be willing to bring in somebody that is literally the reflection of who you are as a single mother and tell him to marry her? If most people are honest with themselves, they would say, abso-fucking-lutely not. No way. You know why? Because you want the best for him. And so why should somebody else settle for what it is that you would not tell your son to go and get? They shouldn't, right? But let me tell you about the deceitfulness in women. They still believe that they should get that thing and that they should take advantage of this guy, knowing that his life is going to be exponentially worse if he was to get with you. It's messed up, right? When you think about it, when you really put it in perspective, why should a guy talk to you above a person that doesn't have children, maybe younger, and don't have as much baggage, don't have as much trauma, and don't have as much of a background with other people? Probably shouldn't, right? Always like to link back to the content creator. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. Make sure y'all tune into the Millionaire Morning Show today. Peace.